way of the future.
Because I took your class last semester.
Right.
I did C310, yeah.
Yeah, I'm teaching C310 in the same time slot, but this time I'm not using the textbook
Yeah.
nor the website.
I don't even know what that is.
That just wasn't working out well for me.
Yeah.
Mostly because the ordering of the topic is not the way I wanted.
We skipped like half the book anyways. Like half of it was just like, and a lot of the stuff in the, I remember you were going over in the lecture, it was just like stuff that people already should know if they turn on a computer before.
Right.
Kind of thing.
And most of that stuff, we won't really care about anymore because desktop computers are going out the door. We're not gonna have.
Are you talking about the Simgate book?
Yeah.
You mean the one that was updated for 2013 that had the same information?
Yeah, the one that we were using last semester that was labeled 2013. Yes. The future telling book. Yep. Go ahead.
So, Lestrange said the other day that you use a different operating system than the rest of us. What OS do you use?
I just use Linux, which is not really, strange or, that different from everybody else.
I'm his Linux class, and he was talking about Ubuntu and how it's like a little golf cart compared to what Linux can do.
Ubuntu is considered a distribution of Linux, which means they package things and they test all the software or all the application to make sure they all work together, and they have their own repository. So in order to install new software, you don't buy anything. You just say, okay, I want to install this off the web, and so it's really super convenient to do it.
So what distribution do you use?
I use Debian, which is the older brother of Ubuntu. So those two are basically like siblings. They're pretty close together. Yep. Sorry?
Somebody left their glasses on the
Sunglasses right there.
Oh, this was one of the translators, I think. I'm gonna pick it up. Thank you.
Right.
Because if you don't tell me, I'm gonna step on it. Go. Yeah, crunch. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. On the other day, we talked about conditional statements. We're not quite done with conditional statements yet, but I give you a new homework assignment anyway. It is conditional 1, which is this one here. So I'll just kind of go over the homework assignment briefly so that you guys know what you're supposed to do. So once again, you'll follow the instructions carefully, because this time I think everybody should know what to do. Save the file. Do not use copy and paste from my file to your file. Okay. So you got to use the file that you download to put your answer in. So in this case, right click, go to save link as, go to a particular folder to save it. So this one I don't need to save it anywhere because I'm not gonna actually work on it. So I just put it into a temp folder. All right, so after that, the best way to do it is to open it up, after you save it. So you go to LibreOffice or OpenOffice, either one would be fine. But don't use Microsoft Office, because even though Microsoft Office can do it, it's going to get rid of some of the settings that I need. So once we're here, we go to File, Open, and then we go to the folder where I saved it, which is temp. And we go to conditional 1, click Open, and now we can work on the homework assignment. This homework assignment is only about conditional statements. No, that's not the one. It's not supposed to be. Uh-oh. Conditional 1.
You didn't go into your 10 folder. You just went into your downloads folder.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now we're in the temp folder. We want to go to conditional 1. Okay, much better. This is your homework assignment. The other one was the example that we used, in the previous class. That would not make a very good homework assignment with it. So this is your homework assignment. This is the algorithm. The algorithm is another conditional statement. This one involves a different comparison. And then we have 3 test cases. This is one, this is another one, and this is another one. I think I forgot to turn off the track changes show, so that's why it's bothering some people. If it's bothering you, just go to show and then turn off the showing of the track changes. If it doesn't bother you, just let it stay. That's not a problem. Are there any questions about this homework assignment? Now this homework assignment is different from the previous one. I do give you a precondition on each sheet because without the precondition, without knowing what x and y permanently have their value, there's no way you can actually perform the comparison and decide which way it has to go. So that's why for this particular homework assignment, each sheet has a precondition, and they're all a little bit different. Okay, so you got to make sure that you apply the logic to each individual case individually, and not say, oh, okay, I know how to do it, just copy and paste to the other sheets, because they may not perform the same thing. Are there any questions about this homework assignment? So you have over the weekend to do it. It's due next Tuesday before we meet in the class. Okay. If you understand the concepts of conditional statements, this one should take you no more than 15 minutes. Right? So, are there any questions from last time? Remember last time I gave you guys a brain twister? How many people kind of gave it a shot? No. Very good. Okay. So people who gave it a shot, you can help me out when we talk about the answer. Now the brain twisters are not really designed so that you can so that it will be something that you need when you later become a software developer or a software engineer. It's really designed to kind of help you start to think about it. Okay, how do you make use of what is available? How do you apply what you have learned in the class, which is the most important part of the class, is to how do you apply the knowledge. Knowledge is not difficult. Knowledge is easy to get. On the internet, you go to Wikipedia, you go to Google. Knowledge and data and information is all there. But how do you make use of that knowledge? Now that is a different story. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start with the brain teaser. The brain teaser says you have less than, you have the logical operators, which is and, or, and also not. Okay, so these are the things that we can use. And what we want to do is to express all the other comparison operators just using these four basic ones. Okay? X is less than y is easy because x is less than y is simply x is less than y. Okay? So what about x is greater than y? How do we express x is greater than y, but only using these four things that you are permitted to use? Switch the order. Go ahead.
Oh, I wrote that if x is not less than y and y is not less than x, then x is greater than y. Or, and y is less than x.
You might have overthink this one a little bit. Okay, you might have overthought this one a little bit. Go ahead.
You just do y is less than x.
Yep. See, on the right-hand side, we have we can only use less than, and, or not on the right-hand side. The left-hand side is the original expression. So we are re-expressing this as this. Okay. What about this one? We want to express x is less than or equal to y, but only using less than, and, or not. How can we rephrase it like that? Yep.
Not in parentheses. X less than y.
I think you meant this.
B less than y. That's what I meant.
Okay.
That's right.
Yep. Okay. When you say, is it true or is it false that x is less than or equal to y, you're really asking the question or equivalent question of is it true or false that it is not the case that y is less than x? They really mean the same thing. Is everybody convinced that the right-hand side and the left-hand side of the double equal are equivalent? They're the same. Okay. Hold on a second here. Did you guys understand what I mean by equivalent? What does that word mean? Does it mean that if one side is true, if the left-hand side is true, the right-hand side has to be true? Or does it mean if the right-hand side is true, the left-hand side has to be true? Or does it mean if one side is true, the other side has to be true, doesn't matter which way. If one side is false, the other side also has to be false, doesn't matter which direction.
It's a general statement, right? So they're exactly the same.
Well, but what does it mean by exactly the same? Okay, that's the question. Okay, so we're gonna we'll digress a little bit and talk about what is actually what I mean by equivalent. Does it mean implies, or does it mean if this side is true, the other side has to be true, or does it also mean that if this side is false, the other side also has to be false, or is it a combination of all those things? We'll talk about that. Yep.
We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Okay. So for the time being, we'll just say that equivalent is meaning they are always the same. Every time you see this, you can replace it with this. Okay. The other one is this. Not too challenging. Just swapping the. Oops, sorry. That's what I meant. Okay. X is greater than or equal to y means x is not less than y. Okay, that seems fairly intuitive. What about this one? I'll start with this one. X is different from y. How do we say it? Yep.
If x is less than y, or y is less than x.
Yep. There you go. And that's why it has that symbol less than greater than, because it means x is either less than y or x is greater than y. Okay. So that's easy. Well, that makes the last one easy too. X equals y. How do I re-express it using only the things that is listed here? Well, if we know how to go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that equal to is when x is not less than y or y is not less than x.
That's right, because it's just the negation of different from, right? Since we already know how to express x is different from y, x equals y is the negation of that. So that means, it is, okay, I'll do it step by step here. And I'll just be a little bit lazy. Just copy and paste it here. So now we have all the basic comparison operators again, but only using less than and or not. Yep.
Well, the last one would be, can you say x is less than y and y is less than x?
No, because that can never happen. X is less than y and y is less than x can never be true. Think about it. Okay, so let me just kind of look at it. Okay, so what you're saying is x is less than y and y is less than x. That is a condition that is guaranteed to be false, because you cannot find me a value for x and a value for y to make it true. Okay.
Is that like the sort of thing you'd see on a quantum computer?
A quantum computer? I haven't really read too much about quantum computers, so I can't really comment on it. Except that quantum states, you can it can be in multiple states at the same time. So the transition from one state to the next is not quote unquote deterministic; it is undeterministic, and it can also be simultaneous. All right, so very good. So this is the brain teaser, or the answer to the brain teaser. And some people in this class may say, why do we need to know this? I mean, isn't it kind of,